So, welcome to the next battle report to do with Mortal Realms with Ohana Hobby Workshop. You're joined by myself, Mega Smasher, and again, Mega Alicorn.
Hi.
So, what we've done now is we have added a few more, a unit each extra into this. But now we're going to go into a bit further detail. So, because there's more than one unit, what we're going to do is we're going to do a roll-off to see who gets to place a unit first. So, as always, roll off and we'll see who gets the highest number. So, I get to choose, do I want to go first place or do I want Alicorn? But for this purpose, I'm going first. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a unit. So, let's say, okay, right. So, I'm going to put my Storm Secretors just here. So, what we are going to do is we're just going to put them up against the board edge, like so. So, Alicorn gets to now place one. So, once the deployment's done, we will come back and we'll show you what the board looks like. So, as you can see, deployment is all done. So what we're going to do is I get the +1 because I finished deploying first. So what we're going to do is we're going to see who gets to go first. So I got a 5. Alicorn gets us 4. 3. I do know my math. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move up slightly, just to essentially get in a bit more range. So we do have quite a few sort of things here. So we are going to we're going to go to our shooting phase because we do have a shooting phase. So we're going to bring in a channeling that all Sacrosanct Chamber miniatures can do from the Stormcast. And we're going to channel our weapons. So that allows us to reroll hits of 1s. Pretty good. So we are going to now shoot. So this is going to go into the Banshees. So, first of all, as always, let's move to dice so we don't get confused. So we do need a 3 to hit, but because of the double 6, we actually... Instead, they get the same rule as the Secretors, so they get that hits becomes into D3. So what we are going to do is just roll these 2 again. We're going to see how many extra shots we get. So we get an additional. So that becomes a 2. Then we have a whopping 3 for this one. That's really good. So there's that one. What we are going to do now is we're just going to quickly roll for our leader. So the leader adds 1 to hit rolls. So they're hitting on a 2, obviously with the same roll with the 6, and they do hit. So we're going to roll these now together because they are the same characteristics now. So all we need are 3s to wound. So as you can see, 3 go through to the Banshees. So the Mormon Banshees are a brand new unit we have put into this because it is the next ones. So Alicorn needs to roll 3, and Alicorn needs a 4+ to save 1. Unfortunately, she fails 2 of them. And they are only 1 wound apiece, so 2 actually die. So, as you can see, it's quite deadly, that D3 extra that you get. So, what we are going to do is we're going to go quite aggressive this time. And we are going to go for a charge. So, we're going to charge our Secretors straight into those lovely little chain rasps right there. That's an 8-inch. So, we're well and truly in there, so we're just going to slam straight into the front. And we're going to play hyper-aggressive this one. So, as always, these guys get to choose about channeling. So, what we are going to do is we are actually going to channel our weapons. So, what this allows us to do is we get to then re-roll failed hit rolls with this. And that's going to be really good, so we can do this in the combat phase. So essentially that's what we're on. We are on a combat phase. We're going to do our little piling. Don't really need to do much there. So we're going to go to our combat phase. So, as always, we have 2 Grand Blades, essentially. So, our Tempest Blades. So this will give us this. So we're going to power up as well. So any fails, we can re-roll. Don't need that. We got them all. We're laughing. So we're now also going to go to our wounds. So again, we need 4s to wound. And we actually passed quite a few this time. So we've done 4 damage in total now. So Alicorn needs to roll a 5 up from 4 dice. And unfortunately, 2 of those pass and 2 die straight from the back. So what we are going to do though, is we are now going to go to our Grand Mace. So standard 2, but it gets 3 because it is our leader today, as always. So any fails, they also get to reroll as well, so it does affect the whole unit. So we get 1 fail, so let's reroll that quickly. Passes, but we got a 6. because we're going against Nighthorn, that 6 turns into a D3. We're going to see what happens. So we get an additional 2 hits with that. So you can see, it's after, when we start including these extra little rules, things start becoming very, very sweet. So we're going to roll again to wound, and we fail 1. So Alicorn now needs to make 4 more saves. Then do you want to reroll that one, sweet? So she passes 2, but because of the power of a Great Mace, this actually does 2 damage. So another 4 instantly get vaporized. Now, as you can see, Nighthorn have just got absolutely demolished this turn, but the Nighthorn gets to swing back. So once they've piled in, we get to see what it looks like. So we're now back after the Nighthorn have actually moved in with each other. So we're going to go straight to their attack. So they get to now attack. So they get 2 attacks apiece. So they're actually looking at 8 attacks, but because there is a leader, so with all squads, your leaders get an extra benefit. So with Chain Wraps, they get an extra 1. So how many dice have you got there? 8, okay. So she does need the X one, so it becomes 9. So she gets to roll these, and on 4. So 2s and 3s and 1s actually fail this time for us. Don't worry, that will change soon. So what we are going to do is we're now going to run in and say yet again it's 4s, and we'll see how much damage it can be done. So that's 3 wounds straight off the bat. So we're going to now roll. So because they have a piece of equipment called a Storm Shield, we're able to re-roll. Re-rolls of 1 for save rolls. So let's see what happens. Unfortunately, we still fail. So we do take 2 damage, and one of our lonely sectors does unfortunately die to those attacks. So, as you can see, gone pretty smooth, but now we have a thing called leadership that we can now actually place into the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the leadership characteristic / bravery of a Chain Wraps board. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our book, and we're going to look at where it says bravery. So a Chain Wraps has a bravery of 6. So unfortunately, with the amount that they have lost, we need to now roll a d6, and that will give us our number. So this is how we work out bravery now. So we roll a d6. Oh, so if we do that a re-roll, because that was a bit crooked. There we go, so it's a 4. So they rolled a 4. But what we then do is we add the amount of miniatures that were lost. So we know that the 2 here will bring it to 6. But if there's anything left over, they instantly run away from battle. So unfortunately that is 4 left over because of the brutal sweep by the Sword Class. Unfortunately, the rest of that Chain Wraps horde, unfortunately, do run from battle from fleeing and terror. So unfortunately, that is those Chain Wraps now completely gone in 1 turn. And as you can see, it's a very brutal way of doing this when you start bringing in the extra rules. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to a Nighthorn, turn 1. So here we are now, we are at Nighthorn turn 1. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our movement. So unfortunately all that's left is 2 lonely banshees. So we're going to see what these banshees can do for us. So we're going to go straight to our movement phase. Just remember as well, people, you always got to be outside of 3 after a movement. So what we'll do is we'll just slow that there. Okay, and then this one will pop there. So we'll do that like that. So as you can see, the banshees have now moved. What we're going to go to now is we're going to go to see if they have any shooting. Unfortunately, there are no shooting. There isn't. So what we are going to do is we're going to go straight to our charge phase. So what we're going to do, as always, a 2d6 charge, because unfortunately they don't get any benefits from this. So we're going to roll 2d6 and we're going to see what happens. So with the way of Age of Sigmar, we roll a dice, then we decide who we're charging. Whereas with 40k, we'll explain that on another snapshot. So she gets a 10-inch charge. So what this allows her to do is she gets to move 10 inches. So she can choose who she would like to charge. So she can either charge a castigator unit or she can charge the secretors. So secretors. So what we're going to do is we're going to charge these banshees right in. They don't have to worry too much. So they're going to go. So we are now going to go to our combat phase. So what we're going to do is, as always, we're going to look at the Banshees War Scroll. So these are more Mymorn Banshees. So these are some of the newer ones that I've just tried. So we're going to look at their attacks and stuff. So we can already see that they have one attack apiece. And then, yeah, so unfortunately these are only one attack apiece. They don't get any buffs for having a leader. So we get 2 attacks here. So these are needing the 3s and then 4s. Let's see what we can do. So that's 1 hit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to roll that one hit and see if we wound. Now this you need a 3. And there we go. We can see it's a 3. So I do have a -2 to my save. So what this means, instead of having a 4+, I need to roll a 6, but I am re-rolling because of the Storm Shield special rule. And we failed. So the damage isn't 1. So the way the damage calculation with this is, it's going to work with D3. So we need Alicorn to roll a dice, and then we can half it and go from there and see how this is going to look. So as you can see, it's a 5. So the way D3 works is a 1 and a 2 is a 1, a 3 and a 4 is a 2, and a 4 and a 5 is a 3. So unfortunately, I take 3 wounds to this because of the rank. So what that does is that will kill one of our secretors off. And one of them, the last one, will go on 1 wound. But now it's the secretor's turn. So we get to pile in and slam back and take the vengeance. So what we're going to do, as always, we are still powered up by our weapons. Makes it even better because it's not our next turn yet. So, as always, 3 attacks because obviously the leader. We do get our rerolls of 1 because we chose to power up our weapons. And then what we're going to go straight from there is we need 3s now. And we hit with both of them. So, unfortunately, Banshees are also ethereal, the whole of Nighthorn armies. So, they need 2 4-ups. So, she passes 1. But unfortunately, that does do 2 damage. And that cleaves through both Banshees. Because damage and characteristics in this game do roll over. So, as you can see, compared to the first one, you can see when we start including the extra rules for stuff, it does get very potent. So that is a Stormcast victory. So, as always, if you enjoy this content and you'd like to support the channel, hit the subscribe button and click the like button. And we will see you on the next episode of Ohana's Hobby Workshop.